Right, hello, hi Year 10. Welcome to our first lesson. So we're going to start with a quick five as we normally would. So um, in a moment I'm going to ask you to pause the video. You can have a go at these on a piece of paper or in your maths book if you've got it. And then when you're ready, just unpause the video and we'll go through the answers. So pause it now. Okay, and on to the answers. So for the red one, you've got two solids, which are a cone and a cylinder. Over here, write down the value of the 6 in this number. Well, it's in the hundreds column, so it represents 600. You can either write it in digits or in words, but you do have to write 600 and not just hundreds. Over here, write down the coordinates of the point A. So if we go along the corridor and up the stairs, we can see that A is 1, 2, and B is 4, 3. Hopefully you got those the right way round. 12 squared, well that's 12 times 12, which is 144. And this problem about Mary and David's money. How much money should David give Mary so that they have the same amount? Well, the difference is 80 pence, so if David gives half that difference, 40 pence to Mary, they'll both have £1.60. So the answer is 40 pence should be given and received. Okay. Right, so today we're going to do a bit of a recap and then we're going to go on to something a bit newer later on this week in our next two lessons. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be looking at solving linear equations. Now this is something we have done more than once, so I hope it will not be too tricky. And if it is tricky, just remember that I'm going to be on Microsoft Teams in a meeting for all of our lessons. So for that hour when we would have had a lesson, if you want to, you can just drop into the meeting and you can ask me any questions. So the way this is going to work is we're going to do 3 examples and then I'm going to tell you to pause it, and I've set a task for you on My Maths, so you can go and do that one. And then we'll do 3 more examples and then you can do the second task on My Maths, and then we'll be finished. So we'll go through the first 3 examples. So let's do these. Example 1. Solve the following. Okay. So firstly, nice easy one to start with. 3x plus 2 equals 20. So when we have an equation like this, when we're asked to solve an equation, you need to find the value of the variable. So what this one represents is that you've got x, that's my 3x, and 2 1s equals 20. So a good first step would be to subtract 2 1s from both sides, and that would leave me with 3x on the left hand side and 18 on the right hand side. Okay. Next then is we want to divide by 3, because what number 3 times will make 18? Well, that's 18 divided by 3. So if we divide both sides by 3, we can see that x is 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Okay, and we're done. So that's the first one. As I say, we've done this many times, so hopefully that's nice and familiar to you. Right, second one, same thing, slightly different. This time we've got 4t subtract 1 equals 15. Okay, so like before, the first thing we want to do is to get rid of this subtract 1. Well, here the difference is the opposite of subtracting 1 is to add 1 to both sides. So when we add 1 to the left hand side we get 4t, and to the right hand side 15 add 1 is 16. Now we need to divide by 4 on both sides, so we get t equals 16 divided by 4 is 4. And one more example. third one, which is p divided by 3 plus 4 equals 1. Okay, so this one is kind of the same as above. There's 2 steps, but it's slightly different because we've got a division rather than a product. So for this one, the first thing we want to do, just like before, is we want to subtract 4 from both sides. So the left-hand side becomes p over 3, and the right-hand side, well, we've got 1, subtract 4, that's negative 3. Now the next step is, rather than, when we had 40 equals 16, we divided both sides by 4. Here, if we want to get just p on the right-hand side, we need to actually multiply it by 3. So we need to multiply the right-hand side by 3 as well. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 9. And that's the answer to this. So now you can pause this video, you can go to MyMaths, you can log in. Remember that the first login is Hardy with an E and Tree, and then the second login will be individual to you. I've emailed that to you, and there will be 2 tasks waiting for you. So if you can do the first one, which is the multiple stage solving equations, it will be some questions just like these ones, so you can have a go at them. You might like to have pen and paper, work out the answers first and then put them in. Remember to, once you've put in a page full of answers, to press mark it in the bottom right, and then move on to the second page of questions as well. Now if you do that on MyMaths, I'll be able to see what you've done when you submit it, but you should be able to do that right now. And then once you've done that first task, don't worry about the second one yet. Just come back to this video, unpause it, and we'll go through another set of examples. So pause it now and do that first task. Okay, and now it's time then to do our second examples, which are going to let us do the problems that involve solving equations with variables on both sides. So again, we're going to do 3 examples. So solve the following, just like before. Number 1, 3a subtract 5 equals a plus 3. Okay, so we've got 3a subtract 5 equals 1a plus 3. So with this one, there's one step that you have to do, and then it will resemble the questions that we've just done. So firstly, because this is a 1a, you could subtract 1a from both sides, and we end up with an equivalent equation, which is this. Now it's still a plus 3 on the right hand side. Next, just like before, we're going to add 5 to both sides. That's the opposite of subtract 5. So we get 2a equals 8. And finally, we're going to divide both sides by 2 to say that a equals 4. And that's that one done. Second example, slightly trickier, is 5p plus 2 equals 29 minus 2p. So just like before again, we're going to start by getting rid of, say, this minus 2p. So we're going to add 2p to both sides. So we get 7p add 2 equals 29. It's all about opposites. So because this one is a minus 2p, we're going to add 2p. Then we're going to subtract 2, again opposite, so the opposite of add 2 is to subtract 2 from both sides. So we're going to get 7p equals 27. And finally, we're going to solve it. So here we need to divide by 7, but you'll notice that 27 is not a multiple of 7. 21 is, and 28 are multiples of 7, but not 27. So what we could do instead is we could just leave our answer like this, 27 over 7, and I'm happy for you to leave it like that. And if you wanted that as a mixed number, it would be 3 6/7. Right, one more example. So same again, just with slightly bigger numbers. Let's say 28m plus 7 equals 10m plus 20. So just like before, we're going to start by getting rid of this 10m. Now because this is a plus 10m, with opposites we're going to take 10m. So we get 18m plus 7 equals 20. Now we're going to take 7 from both sides, so we get 18m equals 13. Finally, we need to divide by 18. 13 is not a multiple of 18, so we can just leave it as a fraction. And this one is not top heavy, this is what we call a proper fraction. So we're done. And that's it. So now you can go to My Maths, you can try the second task, or if you didn't try the first one yet, you can do both of them now and see how you get on. As I said, if you're struggling or if you're not sure about anything, just drop into the meeting on Teams and just ask me. I'll be sat in there. I'll be very, very happy to sort of help you with anything, and we'll see how we get on. And that's it. You know, if you've got any feedback on this lesson, then please let me know. Just send me an email, and I think we might try and do a live one later this week, but I'm not sure about that. But I will make sure whenever we've got a lesson that I'll send you something in the morning so you know what's coming up that day. Right, thanks a lot.